Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. I'm going to interject my opinions all across the board. And if you guys need any help, check out spelled backwards, finding-value.com. Become part of our community. I am running a discount, a 50% discount on the first month if you guys like to join. In the comment section below. Discount code is September. Let's dive in, see what's going on, starting with the dollar. So we're getting a little bit of selling pressure in the dollar today. Now, it's not a clear cut reversal candlestick. It could be. This is very close to a bearish engulfing candlestick. If you were to look at it, you could see that we came up, turned around, but didn't really get a huge follow through to the downside. So it's still, let's still watch it. We could see a move lower in the dollar, but again, it's not a huge reversal candlestick. So let's go to yields. Let's look at yields and see if we can see anything with yields. Now, yields, we were down lower today. Momentum is still to the upside. Not much to say that this thing's going to turn around yet. So I would say the momentum is still to the upside for 2-year yield. The 10-year yield down a little bit today. This does look like it wants to go lower, but it's not a convincing selling pressure day today. It's just a small little down day. So again, I'm going to hold my judgment, and we're going to need a couple more days here. See exactly where we're heading. TYX sold off a little bit, but it came back up throughout the day to the upside. So, today's kind of a day where tough to say. I think whatever the trends are in place will continue until they don't. And right now, not obvious to me that those trends have changed yet. So the overarching trends are still going higher until I start to see some stronger selling pressure in yields here for me to be a believer in it. TYX TNX ratio, the yield curve did uninvert where the short end of the curve came back down a little bit more than the long end. That's what this green candlestick, and it is a bullish engulfing candlestick where we could go higher. Again, this is all based off of probabilities. If this were to go up and if yields were to go down, precious metals are going to get a candle lit underneath their butt to run. That's what we're looking for. And again, I can't stress this enough. We are at a very good location for accumulation of precious metals given where the yield curve is at. It doesn't mean that it will be immediate, but given where gold and silver are and their breakout areas and where this curve is located and how it's inverted, this is a really good opportunity to be looking at precious metals. TLT coming up a little bit. So we're bouncing off this resistance support level. That level, it's this white line going across. We got lots of support resistance back here. And we're coming down and basically hitting that support level. That is what's giving us a little bit of a boost to the upside here. So if we go up in TLT, which is bond prices, that means that yields will go lower, at least on the long end of the curve. So that is what we're looking for. We're looking to see if that is going to occur. If we get this move higher, and if those yields were to come back some, I think gold, silver, and platinum are going to rip it. That's what I think. Those conditions are present today, and my guess is that gold and silver would go higher today. That would be my guess. Gold is higher today. We are above the resistance support level. That's the blue lines that are intersecting here. And we're sitting on top of this big pattern, sitting right on top of it. And we're waiting for a potential market conditions for this to break to the upside. That's what I think is occurring. Silver, it's the same thing. It's just waiting for the market conditions to be ripe and the monies to flow into this thing where it just starts to rip. It's right there ready to break, guys. It is very close to a very big breakout here for silver, and we've come up with our lows right into it. And we might have one last pullback. It's still possible, but I think it's in a pretty good location, and it's broken the long-term blue resistance line that we've got here coming down. It's broken out of that. That's off the closings of this, and we're in a holding pattern ready to launch. Platinum's getting a little jiggy with it today. My boy Platty is what I like to say when it goes up big days like this. Up 22 bucks an ounce. Not a bad showing. Very strong move off this bottom here after it's broken this downtrend, and it's been moving higher. Is this the beginning of the big move in platinum? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I know. Let's just watch it together and see if we can get this downtrend line broken. XAU to gold ratio, very favorable buying pressure in the gold and silver mining companies in relationship to gold. We are using this resistance support level to bounce, and hopefully we can get a bounce to the upside. Right, that's where we're located. We're kind of in this corner here, squeezing up. And at some point, we are going to make a decision if we break higher or lower. We've got the CRB index slightly higher today. And it looks like we could be getting some momentum. If we can get some momentum rolling here, we could probably see a very big move in the CRB index. We're in the prime location for that to occur to start a wave 3. CRB to S&P 500 continuing its move higher, and it looks like we could see a continued outperformance of the commodity sector versus the S&P 500. The monies are a-flowing in commodities over the S&P. GDX, strong showing today, 2.11, looking good. GDXJ looking even a little bit better. Same with SILJ looking pretty good. SILJ's got the bullish engulfing. That generally indicates that we could go higher here in the short term for SILJ, and we're looking good. And we're eyeing that break of the downtrend line. That's what we want to break in the near future. Crude oil up a little bit. We're at 80 bucks, a little over 80 bucks. A little pop higher today. We've broken that downtrend line, and we'll see if we continue higher over time. Nat gas also up a little bit. It did do a little bit of popping in the morning. Very volatile today. You can see we popped in the morning here. Boom. Came on up, and then we came back throughout the day, kind of losing that momentum throughout the day there. So we did pop higher, and we lost a little bit of momentum throughout the day. XOP, yeah, you know me, still chilling right below the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders pattern. So we just need to punch through, guys. And there's going to be a day where oil's up and we punch through this bad boy. And it's going to get really oily in this mix. What I'm going to say, it's going to get oily with it. We're going to bust through that neckline and really start to run. Looking at OIH, this is the energy service sectors. We did break that downtrend line to the upside and looks fantastic for a potential move on upwards. That line is that support level that we used, and then we had a little downtrend line. And on the big picture, guys, this thing looks fantastic for a run. A lot of the times what happens is you get a upward slanted move. Stock kind of goes up like this, and then it rips and breaks. And generally speaking, it could be somewhere in this region here. So we kind of break this upper trend line channel, we'll call it, and we'll say that it's going to get a big boy move out of this. So a lot of the times you see, these trend lines kind of go up and then they just rip. So hopefully that's going to be the case here. Big trend line rip, and we're underneath it. We gotta wait a little bit for that to kind of get up to that level. Go for it if it wants to go for it on the monthly candlestick basis. Physical Uranium Trust still extending the middle finger to everyone that was a disbeliever. Zooming in on it, we continue to edge our way higher. Don't be surprised if this gets a little bit loose with it, if it wants to accelerate to the upside. We still have a little bit of resistance to go. Let's back out. We still have a little bit of resistance, a little bit of buying and selling pressure here. Not much going on. Maybe a little bit through this section there, but um, the people, the selling pressure is going to subside at some point. The FOMO is going to kick in. People are going to notice, and this thing's going to accelerate to the upside, I think. URA also moving on up, looking quite solid here. And the move up is continuing. That is what's happening. Look at that thing go. Run, Forrest, run. The cheetah's been released to the wild, boys. Uranium also heading higher. A little bit of a weird looking candlestick. We gapped up, didn't really gain much momentum, or didn't really lose any either. So that's still looking good. Still looking good. And a lot of the times you get these big green candlesticks with small red candlesticks right next to it. That kind of stair-stepping pattern going on there. URNJ, keeping that leverage on it, just like URNM. And again, guys, this could rip if the money flows come, going to rip. RIP, it's going to rip it. So what I'm doing is nothing. I'm already locked and loaded, riding this sucker on higher. Tan still not getting the vitamin D that it needs. It's down quite a bit, but it could be doing a reverse kind of move here where we bottom and start to head on higher. Again, I don't really have much in this, so not a believer in solar, guys. I'm a believer in oil, generally oil, nat gas, and uranium. COPX heading higher, 1.43%, looking solid. A lot of the diversified mining companies are very cheap. They're paying fat dividends. Line your pockets with cash from those dividends. LIT looks like it's trying to put in a bottom here. Again, we've got a lot of momentum coming down. I'm not jumping on this train at the moment. There's too much momentum. So let's see, wait to see where this thing goes. I want to see a pop higher, and I would buy into that strength if I was bullish on lithium. I am bullish. I'm just more bullish in other sectors. REMX also heading a little bit lower. We're still within the pattern, and we're still above the resistance support trend line. Be patient on it. Everything before it is signaling that we are going to get some sort of move to the upside. Just hasn't hit yet. S&P 500 up 0.63%. Not a convincing upward move. I'm going to hold judgment on it, and I still think it's possible that this rolls lower. Same with the NASDAQ. Not a convincing move. I still remain in the camp that it could go lower. It's a big bearish engulfing and not much of a bounce. Usually those sometimes can roll over. But again, playing with the short term, it's like playing with fire, guys. You're going to get burned at some point. EEM, again, we got the weaker yields, weaker dollar. EEM's responding to that. I think emerging markets is going to respond very well in the future when our market kind of weakens a little bit. That's the next stage of the run, so to speak, is the dollar falls, yields remain flat or weaken at some point, and the emerging markets is going to, I think, scoot higher. XHB, yeah, you know me, another one. 1% up, a little bit of selling pressure here. This could be a flag pattern that we head lower in the short term. I'm not convinced. I wouldn't be jumping in it yet. Moo also right above that, right around that support resistance line. Again, not really doing much with it yet, but it looks like it's trying to find some support right there. Copper up 0.44%, sitting on support. Are we going to get the launch? I think copper's confused on which direction it wants to go. The overall markets are confused. Are we going to get a slowdown in the economy? Inflation is also holding this up. Which direction are we going to go? We've got low inventory levels. I am destined to think that we're going higher. That's me. Iron ore down a little bit. But I think iron ore looks fantastic from a charting perspective and that we could head on higher. You can also rip this thing to the downside here, like this. Say we've already broken out and we are consolidating again on top of this pattern. Um, so maybe that is the case. We'll see. That is just one other possibility that someone could say, but I'll leave it like this for being, and that we are basically almost breaking out. Nickel up 1.17%. And I heard some people talking about nickel and how some people are getting ripped off in it. Um, there's just scrap steel in the bags instead of nickel, like they're trying to fake it. Either way, we're at support, and that's where we're at. We're at this support level, and we're right around there. Aluminum down a teeny bit. We're just waiting for the buyers to step in here and yank it, but we've got bigger buying pressure, small selling pressure. Bigger buying pressure, small selling pressure. Bigger buying pressure, small selling pressure. That is the recipe for a move to the upside. Baltic Dry Index down a little bit. I'm not too worried about it. I think we're going higher. Why do I think that? Because of the previous setup before. This can go all the way back down and do a retest if it wants to. If it wants to. Newcastle coal. This one isn't updating, but it is sideways to going up. I do think coal looks very good, and there are opportunities in coal. Are those opportunities as good as some of the other areas, like nat gas and oil, uranium? I don't think so at this moment. So I've been more interested in those areas versus coal in the short term. Bitcoin down a little bit, not really doing much today, and Ethereum down a little bit, not doing much today. We do have candlesticks at the bottom here. There is support where we are at with all these candlesticks at the bottom here for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Thing I don't like though, I don't like sitting next to a gigantic waterfall decline and all you're doing is going sideways. Sometimes that is a continuation pattern to the downside that I've seen. So that's what I'm seeing in the markets today, guys. I still think undoubtedly that commodities are the strongest sector in the markets at this time. Uranium looks absolutely beautiful. Energy's firming up, and I think energy looks pretty good in general. Oil, nat gas, energy service companies, and uranium. The other sectors, base metals, they're hanging out. They're in a good location. Precious metals, they look good. I can't deny that. They look very good. They're sitting on top of patterns. That's generally where success occurs. You break above everything, took all that effort to break out of all these different patterns, and you're going to sit on there. You're going to rest on top of the pattern. You're waiting for the launch code for money to come flowing back in and launch on higher. So gold and silver and platinum look very good to me. I think they look to be in an excellent location at an excellent point in the real estate cycle with the yield curves inverted at an excellent point of the TYX TNX ratio. You tell me if the probabilities are stacking up to go long in that stuff. I would tell you yes, but if you disagree, I'm still going long. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. We do have a 7 a.m. Saturday question and answer session coming up this next weekend. If you want to join the community, this is always backwards. The camera's backwards. You have to go backwards. If you want to join the community, there is that discount code September if you'd like to. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. This is Finding Value.